if you only had 10 exercises for the rest of time, that's all you have in your library to stay as muscular as possible, give me the list.
I made a YouTube short and Instagram reel critiquing whether or not CBUM's list of 10 exercises was safe and effective for beginner lifters, and the internet went crazy.
Chris Bumstead, aka CBUM.
Here's some examples. Jess Marie Rodriguez Cruz 655 writes, "Dude is twice your size and actually won an award for his body shape. I'll take his advice over yours every single day." And that's your prerogative. But just to give you a little nugget of information, I actually won awards for my body as well. That's for my bodybuilding show that I did in NPC, 100% natural, and I placed top 5 in all 3 categories that I entered. So there you go. Thank you for participating, Jessie Marie. And then Will JF2868 says, "Bar rows are one of the best back exercises. Love to know why you gave it an X." I'm going to be going through each and every single exercise and let you know why I gave it an X or why I gave it a check mark. And then lastly, this is the last comment I'm going to read. Luke Howell 2417 writes, "If this guy knows more than CBUM, why is he so small?" And first things first, I never claimed to know more than CBUM. Never inferred that whatsoever, and never will say that I am, no matter how many certifications I have. I don't know what CBUM knows. The fact that you said that I'm so small in an environment and time where so many people are suffering with body dysmorphia really hurts my feelings. And after I read that comment, like, it really didn't affect me at all. But I want to thank you for your participation. But in the future, when you're commenting on something, if your initial response is going to be negative, just know that reflects poorly on you. But thank you for your participation, Luke Howell 2417. Now let's get into the details. First, my intention with this video was to critique the exercises, and at no point was I critiquing CBUM, Chris Bumstead himself. I love CBUM. I semi-enjoy his content, and I think he's an amazing bodybuilder. So let's get that out the way. Second, as a certified coach with years of experience in the fitness industry, training a multitude of people, like all different types, men, women, young, old, that's my recommendation as a trainer. If I say these exercises I wouldn't recommend for beginners, that's my prerogative in my programming. You're free to recommend whatever to whoever you want. And then lastly, I love all 10 of these exercises and I use all 10 of these exercises. But again, I would not recommend every single one for a beginner. Understand, I was using CBUM as a way to create content, and you guys took it as if I was judging him. That's your fault, not mine. But let's get into the actual list and why I gave each one a check mark or an X.
Squats, just overall leg growth. They help glutes, quads, like a large portion of the leg. That
Barbell
really
back
help.
squat.
Barbell back squat, super
Okay.
simple.
Right.
I checked the Smith machine squat because it places less tension on the knees. It's much easier to bail from the lift if you're a beginner. It's great for getting a quad pump. And for beginners, they can do partials with low risk of injury.
Deadlifts, just to get something that'll target my hamstrings. And so I don't have to take out another 10 of something too hamstring focused and glute and back focused.
Going to deadlifts. This was one of the most controversial exercises when it came to why I gave it an X. Now, I love deadlifts as much as the next man, and here's an example of me deadlifting. But I X'd the deadlift because for a beginner, I believe there are safer alternatives like trap bar deadlifts, RDLs, or even rack pulls that decrease the risk of injury to the low back. I think eventually everyone should work their way to deadlifts, but until beginners actually understand bracing and the biomechanics of how you should move your hips while being in a braced position for the deadlift that they shouldn't do this exercise.
Pull-ups, so I can hit my back and biceps in one.
Overhand, underhand?
Neutral.
Everyone should be doing pull-ups. It's a great back exercise with plenty of regressions like banded assisted pull-ups, and there's very low risk of injury, and it'll help strengthen your back while engaging your lats. So that was a no-brainer.
Incline dumbbell press. I find incline's a little bit better on your shoulders, so if you're doing it's the only exercise you can do, you won't fuck up your shoulders as much. And dumbbell, it'll just keep you a little bit more symmetrical.
That's 4.
That's 4,
Yeah, 6 left.
Incline chest press. Now, with any free weight exercise, there's risk of injury, but training with medium weighted dumbbells will help beginners not only learn how to stabilize their body and weight, but also focus on tension.
Dumbbell shoulder press.
Seated?
Seated.
Yep.
Dumbbell shoulder press. Yeah, I think that'll help your triceps and shoulders a lot.
I check marked the shoulder press because just like the incline chest press, it's another great exercise with low risk of injury, but there's still risk of injury with both of these. Any free weight exercise, there's some type of risk of injury. You could just drop the dumbbell on your foot. That's a risk of injury.
A close grip flat bench. Different part of the chest and triceps.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I didn't necessarily X this one because it wasn't safe and effective, but I X'd it because the primary reason why CBUM chose the close grip flat bench was to target the triceps, and I just believe that there are much better alternatives to hitting the triceps for beginners that doesn't put them in such a compromising position, like tricep push downs.
Dumbbell curl. Just something specific.
Brilliant. I'm so glad that was in there.
How do you want to live without doing fucking dumbbell curls?
It doesn't even
for the
help your
rest of
physique.
life,
I just need it for my mindset.
Exactly, yeah.
With that, are you supinated? Again, this is the only one that you're going to get. Are you seated? Are you standing?
Standing, supinated.
It can't be both arms together. It's got to be one arm
One at a time, yeah.
Good.
Basics is the basics.
Good stuff.
Dumbbell curls, I mean, makes sense. It's an absolute must for any lifter and almost no risk of injury and great for growing your guns.
Bent over row.
Okay.
That'll help like stability, like core as well. And then like lower back and obviously upper back.
Yeah, because the only back exercise that you've had so far is the pull-up.
Deadlifts and pull-ups.
Yeah.
Bent over rows.
Yeah. This is the last exercise that I gave an X, which was another point of contention. Another great exercise, but I don't recommend it for beginners because of how easy it is to accidentally tweak your low back. People end up cheating with the weight when it gets too heavy, and cable rows, inverted rows, and even chest supported dumbbell rows are a superior exercise for beginners to attack and build their upper back with little risk of injury to their low back. And then lastly, for bent over rows, a lot of beginners end up using momentum rather than actually doing strict form. So that's why I X'd it.
Probably like a hanging leg raise, just to make sure your core is getting hit. You're not like fucking up your back.
Hanging leg raise, obviously it's an absolute must for that rectus abdominis. And as long as you could hold yourself up, there's very little risk of injury.
I would probably do lateral raises just to get some meaty delts over.
Fuck yeah.
And lastly, lateral raises. Clearly no risk here other than dropping the weight on your foot, but it's a great exercise to build up your shoulders and round out those delts. That is the reason why I mark the exercises the way that I marked them. Let me know in the comments whether you still disagree with me or whether you agree with me, but understand the context of why I rated these exercises X or check mark. Not because I don't like CBUM or anything having to do with CBUM. It was whether or not these exercises are safe and effective for beginners. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe because I'm pretty sure there's going to be another video that I post on YouTube or Instagram that's going to have some point of contention, and I'm going to have to do a follow-up video explaining why I said what I said. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, until next time, your insecurities. Peace.
But people often don't call bodybuilders athletes. So,
Yeah, but
that's
it's not that
do
fitness
you or
either.
do you
Yeah.
not? Yeah.